on Goldfish Interactive. And what we do on Goldfish is help online event creators to design interactive experiences for their attendees before, during, and after their online events. And I'm actually a plastic surgeon by training. I jettisoned from the field in 2003, and since then I've been working with entrepreneurs from around the world. And I'm interested in the platform because I felt handicapped by webinar technology, because you couldn't see people, you couldn't use gestures and facial expressions, and I'm super excited to have found Remo, because this gives me my superpowers back, right? So I'm excited to facilitate our panel today. We have Catherine Nicholson, who's in the London area. She's the director at the virtual training team. And Alex Abell, who's the founder and CEO of Lunch Break Enforcer. And then Christine Schlonski, who's the queen of sales, success, and mindset. And all of them have run events using Remo recently. And so we're going to have a discussion panel where we're going to pick their brains in a good kind of way, non-destructively, no scalpels involved, and learn some really pro tips and gain a lot of ideas and insights and innovative suggestions for how to use this platform for fun and profit. So welcome, Alex, Christine, and Catherine, right? And I know Catherine, she's going to need to leave a little bit early, so you may see her jettison at some point, but welcome everybody. And feel free for everybody else to post questions in the Q&A, and we'll take questions. So let's just get started by having you introduce yourselves briefly. And Catherine, let's start with you, since you do need to leave a little early.
So hi everyone, it's Catherine Nicholson from the virtual training team. So we actually specialise in designing and delivering virtual training experiences, usually in smaller groups, but I was really interested how, although more companies are moving to use virtual training, they're not using virtual conferencing. So when I came across Remo, I got so excited, especially once I attended my first Remo event. And like most people, it's like, oh my God, this is amazing. So we've since ran our own Remo event, and we have more in the pipeline.
Excellent. Christine, how about you?
Yeah, I work with entrepreneurs from all around the globe and help them to sell with ease, grace, and confidence, and really ask their price. And to reach more people, I run virtual summits. And this time, with my last virtual summit, I included Remo and to help participants to network with a meet and greet. And then at the end of the event, I was able to get some of my amazing speakers to be there and to answer questions. And this was super fun and very successful.
Fantastic. We'll have more questions for both of you about your events. Alex, would you introduce yourself?
Sure, yeah. And so just to clarify, Lunch Break Enforcer is actually my title. The company is Lunch Pool. Yeah, that's no problem. And a lot of people wonder what a lunch break enforcer is. I was in corporate for about the last 10 years doing marketing and analytics. And, you know, me being me, I would get around and find out who people were in the company, ask people to lunch. And I noticed a lot of people didn't know anybody besides their immediate team. So we started a platform for companies to help people break out of their shells or their comfort zone, and get to know other people in the company that they have shared connections with. So we found Remo because our mission is to break people out of their seats and make sure that they're actually connecting together. And we use technology for that. Remo has a very similar mission of encouraging connections. And we were looking at solutions for remote employees to use our platform. And we found this and decided to throw our own event to test it out. And it went really well. We had, I think, around 100 people show up and got a lot of great feedback. And yeah, we're looking forward to making some more.
Fantastic. Very exciting. So, Christine, when you ran your virtual summit, how did you integrate the regular broadcast of, say, live sessions with Remo? Did you use different platforms? Did you use Remo alone?
Yeah, so the presentations were pre-recorded.
Okay.
But I was looking for a way to make it interactive. And then I was able to integrate Remo as meet and greet event. So we had the first day of the summit. Everybody was super excited. And then usually at a summit, you have your attendees, and then you have people who actually take you up on the offer and buy the recordings and get some amazing bonuses. So since I didn't really know how this would work and how many people I could handle, I decided to only give these experiences to people who actually bought the All Access Pass, which made it an interesting experience just to be able to handle the amount of people, the number of people, and also experience how exciting it is when you can actually talk to other participants about a topic of common interest, because that's the reason why you attend the summit, right? You want to learn something. So I kind of divided it, and I really liked it. So I'm already looking for ways how to make it kind of a standalone experience. And I'm looking forward to Alex sharing more about that.
Well, Alex, perfect segue. Let's hear from you. Do you have suggestions for Christine?
Sure. Yeah. So I'll kind of talk about the marketing and how we prop this up as our standalone event. We met Huang back. It was actually I was on my Christmas vacation in Germany, and I stumbled across this platform. I think it was on Product Hunt or one of the websites like that shows innovative new technologies, and I was kind of blown away. I immediately reached out and asked for a demo, and we started discussing how we might use it to work together. One of the things that we had been wanting to do as a lead generation pipeline for my services was offer a citywide, region-wide event where people could network. And I've done in-person events before, and it can be very challenging. Where we're headquartered down in Tampa. Tampa Bay has St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Panelists, and they're all disconnected by bridges, so it can be hard to do in-person events. So we decided to do the virtual event, and I can share my screen to show you kind of how I set up the funnel, because I always, from a marketing background, I think in terms of funnels. And if you're not familiar with that analogy from marketing, it's basically you have a lot of people, you have fewer people, and as they get closer to the conversion, which would be attending the event, you get a lot less people. So if you can see my screen here, I have pulled up my LinkedIn events where I started, because we're targeting professionals, and depending on your event, you have to kind of meet them where they are. So it could be Facebook, it could be anywhere, but we sent out a bunch of invites to this. We ended up with about 800 RSVPs. Now, did we get 800 attendees? No, but that's to be expected. So from the LinkedIn page, I just really, you have to be descriptive about what it is and get people excited about the new technology. Because virtual networking event, people have a lot of questions when they see that. Is it a Zoom talk? Is it, what are you going to be doing? So sharing pictures from the Remo platform really helped kind of solidify that. And then from here, I tried to push everybody to the website that I created. So this was before Huang actually had incorporated the ability to have Summit integration. My own, put some pictures from their website, and this led to an Eventbrite page where people could actually RSVP. I recommend if you haven't tried it, try reaching out to local media contacts, or try to develop relationships with those, because we were able to get an article in Tampa Bay Business Journal, and a local newspaper, the St. Pete Catalyst. So just, promotion is key before your event, getting the word out there, really being excited about it, and getting people that are in your network that will come to kind of be your ambassadors can be key to a good turnout.
Alex, that's awesome. Alex, where did you put your images of the Remo?
What do you mean?
You said it was helpful, off of the page you're showing now to show people images of what virtual networking really is. Where did you post those? Oh, you had separate posts?
Yeah, so I would post them on the pages for the event itself.
Yeah.
And then, because a lot of the people that we brought in found out about it through the news articles, so I made sure to include those in the articles themselves and talk about it a little bit.
Right.
So, it's a cool platform and it's very innovative. So you want to make sure that people know this isn't going to be like what Christine pointed out, the typical virtual event where it's pre-recorded and then you get the content afterwards. Because for those, a lot of times people have that expectation that I don't really have to attend. I can just, tune in later. I'll get access to the videos, still valuable, but the experience here is you kind of want, or you have to be here to really to benefit and to experience and connect with people. So
exactly,
setting that expectation, I think, is key. And people these days, I mean, I built my business around it. People crave connection with other people. We're increasingly isolated. So technology like this, where one of the bits of feedback we got after the event was, I didn't even have to put pants on to go network with people. So, it's kind of a unique and low effort, low risk way to get to know other people.
Right. That's fantastic. Yeah, I ran a networking event for introverts a couple weeks ago, and this platform makes it easier for introverts to come out of their shells. So thanks, Alex. Awesome. Catherine, I'd like to ask you, so you've been doing virtual training for quite some time. And then what prompted you to want to add the virtual networking conferencing side of things?
We did a whole campaign a few months ago, really, with the whole carbon focus at the moment of reducing our carbon footprint. And we realized that we'd not really used that as a way to promote our own virtual training, because a lot of companies are looking to reduce carbon footprint. And we were creating articles and blogs and videos. And one of the things that we noticed is that conferencing, like in-person conferencing, is terrible for the environment. There's the food waste, the packaging waste, balloons, pens on the table, marketing pads, everything, travel. And it was like, okay, we can do virtual training, but why aren't people doing more virtual conferencing? And we didn't realize that other than things like Zoom and some of the other platforms, that you could do something like this where people can actually network and chat, and that's where much of the real value and richness comes from. Right. We found, definitely.
Yeah, and then you and I were speaking the other day. What about coronavirus? Right?
Yeah, you can't spread germs over the internet.
Right. That's the next version of Remo. Yeah. Right? Yeah, we're actually seeing from the Remo side that there are a lot of inbound inquiries from conference organizers where their live conference had to get canceled. Wow. Right, and they're stuck. That's their business. But yeah, they're very interested in using Remo to shore up their businesses.
And I'm sure once they try Remo, they'll realize that you don't always have to do in person.
Right, exactly. So how are you integrating this now?
So we ran our first Remo event around remote working, because that's something that's relevant to our community, last month, and we learned so much from it. So I don't claim to be an expert on how to get a Remo event right, but we're learning really, really quickly. So a few of the headlines that we got from it is start earlier. We left it quite last minute to really start to promote, and some people, they need to get the date in the diary earlier on, and then they're more likely to come. Something else is, you got me thinking about this, Alex, around building that anticipation and getting people excited to come along. I think at times some of our promotions were a bit like, woohoo, we're really excited, and so you should be excited too. But I think we could have been clearer at times as to what people might get from the event and why they should come along. So that's something that we're working on for next time. And I've got a question to the rest of the panel, actually, something that we're toying with, which is who should we be targeting? So, for example, are you better off having fewer people who are your target audience, or more people where they might not be 100% your target audience, but then they still might spread the word? I don't know if you've got any views, because we're like this at the moment.
Christine, Alex, want to weigh in? Yeah.
I can kind of take that one because, you know, I hate to say the answer, it depends, but for something like what you're doing, I would say that you're going to have more success targeting a more specific niche. So, you know, maybe less attendees in the beginning, but a better experience for them. And it's going to be a lot easier to craft copy, to build that excitement in your campaigns, promoting the event. And what happens then is after they have those experiences, even if there's, you know, the first event may have 5-10 people, they're going to say, wow, that was really relevant to what I'm doing. I've met people that are in my field, and they're going to tell other people because they have their own networks. So, you know, with the network effect, I would say keep it specific. And that was some of the feedback that we got because we promoted our event. It was called Break Tampa Bay, and it was like, let's take a break together. So we didn't even really do this kind of speaking session. It was all networking. And some of the feedback was, I'd like to meet with other professionals in my industry because it was a big mix of people that we had. So in the future, we're planning to do you know, marketing and advertising breaks, you know, women in technology, you know, all the different fields, developers, whatever, you know, we saw come to the first one. Let's break it up a little bit. So you can go either way, but I would say start small and really focus on creating meaningful
experiences. It's really good advice. It's really good advice because we started with that intention of being really focused, and then you have this last minute panic of what if nobody turns up, and then it's like anyone come along, friends, family, neighbors, you're all welcome. Just in that panic. So I think we can resist that next time.
Yeah, and I also totally agree with Alex. Just from a sales standpoint, it's so smart to have the right people, because they will turn into fans. If it's not really a perfect match, I might like the experience, but I will not really share it. While if it's a perfect match and I get so much out of it, like for the summit experience, for the second Remo event, I had speakers showing up and they had designated tables. So attendees could come and then click to their choice and ask those people questions. Right? People that speak on stages and get thousands of dollars or have written bestseller books and stuff. So having that experience made it super special. I would really niche down and don't be afraid, like have less people, but they are diehard fans, and give it a little bit more time.
That's great advice. Thank you.
That's awesome. So Christine, when you said that when you, the people who could network using the Remo platform were only the people who bought the VIP all access pass, right? Did you find you had challenges explaining to people the value of what this experience was going to be like?
Yeah, I think not really the explaining part. I did not have enough time. So I was running into the same challenge like everybody else, probably kind of underestimated what it took.
Right.
And I found out like one of my speakers mentioned Remo when we recorded the presentation, and that was pretty close to the summit being launched.
Oh, okay.
So I did the research. I was like, whoa, I want this. So I made it happen. Next time I would really have like a separate kind of sales page where I would show like a little video and the pictures of what the user experience could be like.
Right.
So people came because they were curious, they loved the topic, but they didn't know what to expect, even though I tried to explain it. So next time I will go into more detail and also give ourselves more time to promote it and to kind of hype it as well.
Right.
Because it was such a great experience. Everybody was so excited, hopping from one table to the next and, sending messages, writing in the chat. It was really wonderful to watch.
Yeah. Now you said something I'm curious about. You mentioned you would have a separate page to describe the the virtual experience of networking. Why would you have it be separate versus integrated with the rest of your sales page?
Well, it might be a little bit overload, right?
Okay.
Because depending on how you package,
Right.
you know, if you just give we had already 2 offers.
Oh, okay.
For the all access pass with different bonuses.
Right.
So I think then when somebody has actually purchased, and there's enough time to the event, I would just send them a separate page explaining everything. So this time around, we sent them the instructions, like how to get on, like how to have your mic ready and everything like this,
right.
But not really like, this is what it could look like when you come, this is a demo, have a look here. So we did not really do that. We just did the, I'm so excited kind of thing.
I see, okay. Well, you reminded me about an idea, which is not only to create a separate section that describes and shows them the experience through visuals, but also to send this out in emails as well, both to the people who've signed up for the pass to reinforce their buying decision, but also for the people who haven't bought yet to show them, hey, this is what you could be experiencing, and this is what you're going to miss out on if you don't buy the all VIP pass, right?
Yeah, yeah. And therefore you need like let's say a better planning process.
Yes, okay. Exactly.
And that's definitely next time.
So everybody, for everybody here, we're hearing a common theme is give yourself more time to plan and prepare, right? Alex, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I was going to say we started the promotion while I was actually on my Christmas break, and our event was in January. So, you know, I gave us a good month to promote. And I was going to add as well, one of the tactics that we used, let's say you're going to do a free event because you don't think anybody's going to come, like what Catherine was mentioning, everybody gets that anxiety. What we did, I borrowed it from my party promoter's handbook from my college days. We gave away the first 25 seats for free. And then, we had set the expectation that after a certain date, or after we hit this 25 attendees, it's going to go up to $5. And $5 isn't much, but people are much more likely to sign up for even a free event if they know there's a deadline that's not going to be free anymore, and if they know that there's a limited number of spaces. So creating that scarcity can really have an impact on your attendance. And if you're going to do it free anyway, hey, you know, you got 25 that you know are going to come. So that's something that I really recommend. And my wife is actually harassing me because we're supposed to go to lunch. So I apologize to cut this short. But you know, I have to cut out. But everybody, feel free to connect with me, and I apologize for cutting out of the discussion early. But I love Remo and keep it going.
And I need to go as well. Thank you so much for having me. Really useful and interesting. And please connect. I'm hopping going to a virtual workshop right now. So enjoy the rest of the session.
Thanks
I love
so
Remo too.
Bye, Catherine. So this is perfect time, and we'll wrap up in a couple of minutes, but just we have a little private time with Christine. So Christine, if you could share one like juicy tip that would be applicable to you for your next events and also applicable to everybody else who's looking at using Remo for their events, what would that be?
Yeah, I think educate your audience because people just don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
And if you can place it in the right way where they understand the immense value they receive because you hold the event, they're more likely to come. And so I also had people from all different time zones. So, you know, somebody might be willing to get up at 2:00 in the morning to join. And the more value they see from your event, the easier it is for them to plan and to make it happen.
Yeah. So I was just thinking as you're saying that, what about people who, for whatever reason, maybe it's the time zone or they have a conflict, they cannot come to the live session, right? And for some of us, we will have a replay of, say, the presentation, but then they miss out on that, really the value of the live networking experience. what I was thinking is you could also open, even for a replay, you could open a virtual room where they could network, right? And just have it go at a certain time. I don't know, just an idea just made up on the fly. Maybe we have to test this out. We'll have to all be test pilots.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Or you set up two. I mean, if it's a networking, you could potentially just set up 2 different times.
Right.
Like if you have enough events so that you are mindful of the different time zones and where it's a better fit for what country.
Yeah.
That could also be something where life can be a little bit easier.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one more question before we wrap up. So I know, everybody here is really excited about this new wave of being able to interact and meet people literally from around the world, from the comfort of wherever we are with our computers or our phones, because Remo actually works really well on mobile as well. But some of the people I've talked to say, hey, that seems like a lot of work to put these events together, especially a virtual summit, right? You've done virtual summits. What's your thought about, what would you say to somebody who says, oh, that's a lot of work?
Well, you're right. It is a lot of work. But talking about Remo, I found it was so well done. The support system is just wonderful. And, for me, it was more like a last minute decision that I wanted to include this in the summit experience.
Yeah.
And the team was just amazing. So I had, all the support I could possibly ask for to make this happen. So if you are like on the fence, like give it a try for sure. I mean, there's no other answer because people will love it. As Alex said earlier, we all crave these personal connections and we want to have meaningful conversations. And I love the way how the little tables are set up. You just move around, you meet people from all over the world, if that's the event you're putting on. And I think it's so valuable and people will not forget the experience. They will talk about it, which will elevate your brand or your company or your products or whatever you stand for when you're one of those early movers adapting the technology, which probably in some years everybody will just use, because why should we travel if we don't have to, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, that was fantastic. I wish we had recorded that part because we could use that somewhere for Remo and for my course. I'm going to come back to you and we're going to redo that at some point. That was fantastic. Okay, good. Oh, Huang says we have recorded. Phenomenal. So great. I wanted to clarify one thing because I set Christine up for this. I asked her about virtual summits, and that was an amazing response, by the way. But you don't have to do this with virtual summits. You could just do a one-time event, make it really simple. And I've done this, it doesn't have to have a big lead time. Of course, the more time you have to promote, the better. But you could just set up an event today and have it run next week just to get some experience under your belt. And I think that's the best way to do it, is get some experience, get some quick wins. And it doesn't have to be this big, overwhelming process.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, get comfortable with the technology. And then when you're comfortable, you can obviously lead your audience and really, show them how it works by having an amazing presentation, by facilitating the networking, by, having time to hop from table to table to say hello. People just love that. And I really had the opportunity to meet more of my summit audience, to have meaningful conversations. And then, at the end of the day, you never know where your next customer is going to sit or where you're going to meet them, that invest more than just an all access pass and work with you maybe one-on-one or use your group coaching programs or an online program or whatever it is that you offer. One thing I also would try to make it different in the next time is, getting some sponsorship.
Yeah.
Because all these opportunities are there. So maybe you already have some company in mind that wants to sponsor the event, like reaching out and giving them exposure in this way. I think that's really, really a great opportunity for you to, have someone pay for your event and for them to get exposure.
Exactly. That's why I'm working on a service that will be an online sponsorship done for you program.
Oh, cool.
Right. Yeah.
that sounds great.
Right. Well, fantastic. Well, Christine, it's been great to speak with you here, and I'm sure we'll have more conversations in the future because we're very early in this process of really bringing interactivity to these online events, and I think we're going to learn a lot from each other moving forward and inspire each other to do more things with this. So thanks again for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, George.
Hey guys, thanks so much. So we're gonna just go through a really quick working session, about 15 minutes. And after that, we're gonna have our talk. So please stick around, network around, have an opportunity to chat, and we will start our next session in about 15 odd minutes. And a response to Abby, yeah, we'll be posting it up on YouTube, and we'll be emailing it out to everyone as well after the session. All right,
Yeah.
we're going to go
So
into
there are two questions in the Q&A.
Oh, I missed those. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, let me get those. Okay. First question is from Geza. Do you get extra people on board to help organize your event, like as in helping with customer service? Christine, you want to take that one?
Well, the Remo team was so wonderful. I wasn't prepared to bring anyone, so my challenges were all taken care of. I didn't need to do anything. So I guess it depends on what kind of event you're holding. And yeah, if you want to build like a kind of a funnel in your event, or you want to direct people to certain people to have conversations, then I would definitely bring those experts or people for service and give them tables, put their names on the tables, so people can find them and just tell people what to do, where to go, where to get support. But as for Remo itself, the team is wonderful. So I don't know, if you're not an insider, I don't know what you could do.
Well, actually right now, while we're getting a lot of, spreading awareness of what Remo can do, the team, if they know in advance about your event, they'll do their best to make sure someone's available to support the tech side of your event. So like helping people figure out their technology as they're trying to log in, the Remo team can have someone available for that. All right.
Yeah,
okay, one more
event. Yeah. So, okay.
Sorry, I spoke over you. Say that again, Christine.
Yeah, sorry, George. Yeah, well, thank you for pointing that out. That what happened for my event, that the Remo team was present, and that was so helpful.
Exactly. It takes a lot of stress off of us as the event organizer and the presenter and the host, right? Yeah.
Yes.
One more question from Sean. What tools do you folks use for on-screen visual collaboration in breakouts? So, well, now you can use whiteboards, because on the whiteboard, you can actually collaborate. It's not just a whiteboard for one person. Everybody at your table can be drawing on the whiteboard at the same time.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a new thing. That's a recent addition. Yeah.
Well done.
So Sean, check that out.
What I recommend. Sorry.
Oh, he's saying, could you show it? Yeah, we could show it real quick.
Okay.
You want to do that?
Yeah. Well, so I'm gonna show the whiteboard. I'm gonna turn it on right now in presentation mode, but you can also have it so table. Now, let's see if I can load. Give me a second, see if I can load it here. Sean, I'm gonna have to show it to you on the table, but in the whiteboard, on each table has its own whiteboard, and in this case, only the event manager can edit it. But on the table, any person can, like anyone together can edit it. So that's like the difference. So definitely show it to you maybe later there. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's it for now. All right, let's do some networking. So I'll talk to you guys there. Talk to you guys soon. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.